I thought about selling my Chanel Classic flat bag. This is my holy grail bag. For the longest time, this was the only bag that I wanted, and it was a huge milestone for me to finally get this bag. This is a bag that I constantly use and love, and up to now, it is one of my prized possessions. But why did it enter my mind to actually sell this bag? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thought process on how I ended up wanting to sell this bag and why I almost led to that decision. But before anything else, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm trying to reach 3,000 subscribers this year, so if these are types of videos that you like watching, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to connect with me in my socials, it's at TrishDLF. So my Chanel medium large flap in the caviar leather and gold hardware. This is the most classic and iconic design from the house of Chanel, and this was definitely my holy grail, and I just love everything about it, and I love the design of it. For those who don't know the history of this bag, this was purchased pre-loved, I think, back in 2016, and it was around 15 years already, 13 to 15 years already at that time, and I've used this bag for another 5 to 6 years since I got it. Now, why did the thought of selling this bag ever enter my mind? So this has been looming over me for quite some time now because, no joke, I already made money on this bag. Because I got this bag prior to all the price increases, and it was pre-loved, it was vintage at that time, it was a very, very low price as compared to how much these are selling these days. Even the vintage prices, these are already very highly marked up in the market. So to make the long story short, I already want to cash out. Just imagine the stock market. I am already like over 100%. So just think of this bag as the stock market, and I already definitely made money on this bag. And because I dabble in the stock market, gains like these kinds of gains are very hard to ignore, especially for a bag like this that made like already double plus more of my money since I got it like almost 5, 6 years ago. So that's the main reason. It's just really hard for someone like me to ignore those types of gains. Now, the second reason that made me really think about it is because we're going to Europe in a few weeks, and I feel like now is the perfect time to buy a brand new Chanel bag. Like, I feel like buying a Chanel flap in store in Paris is the ultimate dream. Like, that just feels like such a core experience for me, especially for people, I guess, who are really into fashion or really love like designer things. I feel like having that experience in Paris, especially in their flagship store, which is the Rue Cambon store, I feel like getting your dream bag from there is like just such a core memory. I feel like getting your dream bag from there would be such a core travel experience. Like, for someone like me who's always appreciated the brand ever since I was in high school, like, I just felt like I really wanted to do this. I wanted to buy a brand new flap bag from the Rue Cambon store. So I really thought about it, because if I were to sell this bag, I would already gain like majority of the funds that I would need in order to buy a brand new bag. Like, based on my calculations, if I sell this at the price that I'm looking at, I would only have to add the cost of like one bag, one like Louis V bag. So when I think about it, the funds that would go from the sale of this bag would add to the funds of that brand new bag. And so when I add them up together, it'll look like I only bought like a regular designer bag, like a Loewe bag or like a Fendi bag. That's just gonna be the cost of that Chanel bag because of the funds that I would get from selling this bag. Like, I feel like now is the perfect time to actually sell this bag as well, because it's already vintage. I think it's almost 20 years old, if not like a little less or more. And of course, because it is already an old bag, then the remaining years of it'll look much older. So that's why I was already thinking of replacing this, because you know, all things have a shelf life, and this is nearing its old age, basically. I also thought to already sell this bag because I think that it is already on the peak of its price. Because the retail prices of the flap bags increased, the secondary market followed suit, as well as the vintage pieces. So right now, the vintage pieces from this era, like the early 2000s, basically 90s to 2000s, they're still fetching at the premium. However, if you sell later down the line, the vintage pieces aren't going to be this anymore. They're gonna be probably like the 2010 pieces. So those are the bags that are gonna be considered vintage. So obviously, these are gonna be in lower value if I decide to sell later on. I just feel like now is the peak of this specific bag in this specific series. So if I were to sell it, I really do believe that selling it right now is the best time and it's the most optimum time to sell this. However, this is where I backtracked and just like analyzed everything again and realized that maybe I shouldn't change this bag anymore to a brand new piece. And this is why. So let me just put this bag over here. So because I was considering selling this bag, it already got to a point where I was watching new YouTube videos of like unboxings of new Chanel bags. And I also started researching on how easy it would be for me to get a classic flap in the Rue Cambon store or basically any store in Chanel, because apparently like now you need some sort of history. Although I don't really know how strict they are with that, because based on what I read or what I've searched, a lot of people are still easily able to get classic flaps. It's just that there's like a minimum number that you can buy. So I think it won't be a problem if I try getting one in Europe. Although in the Rue Cambon store, I do hear that it's kind of difficult. They usually don't have any stocks of anything. So it depends on when you come to the store or like what month. So there, my foot was basically halfway through the door until I stumbled on this YouTube video. And I forgot her name, but I'll link her video down below. But that video had so much views. I think over 20,000 views. And she basically ranted about her brand new Chanel bag from the store, which she only bought a year ago, and there was already like a stitch coming off at the back. Like the back flap is stitched over here and another one on the other side. And she was basically complaining about that because she's only had her bag for a year and the stitch already popped out. My jaw literally dropped down when I saw the video because the pop stitch was so bad, and I was just like, it's only been a year? Like, you've only had that for a year, and the rest of the body of her bag was like in perfect condition, and she looked like she took care of it. Like, I think it's pretty obvious when you're the type of person who doesn't take care of her bags. You can definitely see it with the wear, like on the exterior. But this girl, like, her brand new flap was clean all over. Like, the corners were okay, the edges were okay, but it's just that pop stitch, and it's only been a year. And then I was just like, what? Like, this is a brand new bag that costs over like 500,000 pesos, or in US dollars over 10 grand. And your bag popped like that. Like, I was just so surprised because, wow. Like, the fact that I was considering selling this bag and putting in another how many thousands of pesos to buy a brand new one, only to be greeted by that kind of quality. And of course, I hear a lot about like the quality issues of Chanel these days, on like how bad it is. But the accounts of other people don't really sink in until you're actually considering buying one yourself already. Like, I've seen a lot like the past years in like the Facebook groups of like shoes breaking down that were just newly bought, the small nano bags that have like uneven stitching, flaps that are uneven. But to actually purchase one, because this account was from a girl who purchased one herself, she even posted her unboxing the year prior, so you can really see that this bag was brand new and it just popped like that in a year. And for something that you want, because it was a bag that I was researching to buy and I was preparing to buy, it was just really off-putting for me to see that kind of video, because it really validated all the other accounts of other people that were saying that the quality of Chanel has really gone down. So when I look back at it, I was like, is it really worth it spending 500,000 pesos or 10 grand plus for a brand new one to replace my vintage one, when this vintage piece is working perfectly, it's in great condition, it's old, yes, and the quilts have flattened, but I've used this bag so much. I've used this for 5 years, and for vintage, and the stitches have not popped out yet. Like, that is a lot. Like, that's a huge testament to how good this actual piece is. And watching that video also made me realize that, yeah, it's probably really true what people are saying, that the vintage quality is better. Because before, I used to think that, yeah, but that's still a brand new bag. Like, that brand new bag will obviously last you longer than this vintage one, because this already has like a smaller shelf life left versus a brand new one, right? But really, when I saw that video, I was really just like appalled by the quality of that bag. And it really scared me, because when I think about it, like, am I really willing to lose this heirloom piece, this vintage Chanel bag in like very good, excellent condition that the previous owner as well as I took very good care of? Like, I feel like at this point, this is already like an artifact. For me, this already feels like an artifact because of how well it was made versus the brand new ones. Like, I wouldn't mind if they were constructed the same way, but the fact that that bag, the stitch popped out, I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I really willing to trade this perfectly working bag for a bag that could possibly pop off, like, out of nowhere? And also the fact that I'm going to be getting it in Europe. When I bring it down here, we don't have a Chanel store over here. So what happens now with the warranty? And also about the warranty, that bag in the video was only purchased like a year prior. And yes, there's a warranty, but the fact that you have to bring your bag in after 1 year, are you serious? And then with warranty, they take like months. So if you send in your bag to them, it's gonna take another like 6 months just for them to fix like a pop stitch. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And it was just really disappointing because Chanel put up this like Chanel en Moi. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but basically they have like a 5-year warranty. You don't need to shell out for any repairs. So you'd think, right, like they would increase their quality because they also increase like their customer service and everything like that. But no, like, it's still really bad quality. So now that I saw that video, I was just like, I think I am going to be settled with this vintage piece, because this bag has really taken care of me. The fact that it has stayed strong, like, you're so strong, because it's almost 20 years, imagine, or I think it's 20 years. What year was it? Like 2002, 2003. So yeah, I think exactly 20 years. So this bag is exactly 20 years already. And she's held up really well, and I didn't baby this bag. I really use this bag. Like, I use this to parties, to dinners. I use this casually, and it's still like in amazing condition. So I feel like abandoning this bag after watching that video, I really felt like abandoning this bag would do me a disservice, because the fact that she served me for so long, and then for me to suddenly turn around and be like, bye, I'm done with you, and then get a brand new one, which you're not sure that the quality will stick with you. Like, you don't know if that bag is going to be as loyal to you as this bag. That's basically what's in my head right now. Like, you don't know. So don't do it. Basically, that's what it's saying. Don't do it. But yeah, that video definitely opened up my eyes, and I realized that I don't need to keep looking, because the real one, the OG, is right here on your shelf. I really feel like my bag feels betrayed because I even considered trading her for a brand new one. Because yeah, after all those videos and all that research, I just realized maybe I should just be satisfied with what I have now, because you never know what will happen. Like, honestly, if the quality wasn't like that, like if they gave the same quality as this bag, if Chanel continued to produce bags that will last forever, such as this one from the vintage era, then I would definitely, no questions, exchange this for a brand new one. However, with the kind of quality that you're putting out, and like it's not just like a small mistake or error, because the fact that it's not just one person who's vlogging about this. It's multiple people who are posting. It's not like some plot by someone or like a group of people trying to drag Chanel down. It's like it's really happening. And like these real people are posting about it. So the fact that it's rampant, then it just really makes me scared to enter in that territory. So maybe in the future, when the quality gets better, and maybe when they make the hardware in 24 karat plated gold again, because this one is in the 24K plated version. So that's also when I realized that yeah, these bags are getting rarer and rarer, like the 24K versions. That's why I feel like it's sort of an artifact already, because they literally don't make this anymore. So it's going to be rarer the longer you wait. So for me to trade it in, I was just like, yeah, it's probably not a good decision, and I should just be happy with what I have, and I will cherish this bag for the years to come. But yeah, she is getting old, so hopefully at least Chanel makes their bags in better quality so that I can be more confident in purchasing a new one, because right now I'm just really not confident. Her video, the girl's video with the pop stitch, she just posted like a few months ago, or I think a year ago. So it's so recent, so the bags from that batch could still be in stores right now, and I could be the lucky person to buy that bag. So yeah, right now I'm just not confident in it. So I think for now, replacing this bag will have to wait. And yeah, I just think that's really a sign that this bag is telling me to just hold on to her as much as we already got like major ROI. Like just stick together until the water subside. So yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. There were definitely many realizations upon researching on whether or not to replace this bag. And I think right now I'm confident in my decision not to yet, because yeah, it's a risk. Right now it's a risk, I'm telling you. Like after seeing that video, you guys definitely have to watch that video of that pop stitch Chanel bag. So yeah, check it out after watching this video. So it looks like I might just be purchasing a different bag for now. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button down below to help the YouTube algorithm. I'm trying to reach 3,000 subscribers this year, so if these are the kinds of videos that you like watching, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. And if you want to connect with me in my socials, it's at TrishDLF. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!